Recording in progress.
Hi, thanks for joining me. My name's Claire Palmer from Clarity Coaching by Claire Palmer. And at today's event, I'm going to help you discover how you can harness and grow your self-belief and how you can make more conscious decisions to enable you to have the maximum success within your career or any aspect of your life. So our ability to make conscious decisions rather than just relying on our automatic responses really enables us to be in control of situations, and therefore we're able to get a better outcome for what we're looking for. Now in work, that may be the fact that you want to get your ideas across, you want to create different concepts, you want to be able to manage people better, you want to be a better leader. Or outside work, it might just be something that you've got a personal goal that you want to achieve, but you keep telling yourself it's not possible, or situations happen that reinforce that belief that those things aren't possible, that they're outside of your grasp. So today I want you to really think about, are you making conscious decisions, or are you just in automatic response mode, which therefore isn't paying you very well? So we'll be looking today at how to make more conscious decisions. How can you be in control of your emotions and your reactions to situations? And how can you change them if they're not serving you well? I'm going to go through a really simple model with you, Control, Alt and Delete, which I thought was really kind of topical for Femtech, because, you know, we're in a world where we are looking at changing technology, where we've got disruptive technology, where we're creating the technology of tomorrow. So Control, Alt and Delete, those three keys on your keyboard, will become really apparent to you each and every day and remind you that you are in control. I'll go through with you my top 3 reasons for being more in control of your mindset, and how, you know, really being in control and managing that really does allow you to harness your self-belief and to be able to grow and develop your dreams from that. And by doing that, you'll be able to release yourself from maybe negative beliefs that you've had in the past, experiences that have formed those beliefs. You'll be able to strip those back and instead use that energy to propel you to great success in the future. And then finally, I'm going to finish off by talking about the importance of taking small steps. You know, we all want to achieve success. We've all got dreams, we've got ambitions, and sometimes it can feel like it's never going to happen. But if you take small steps and you make conscious decisions and you move each and every day to being to where you need to be, where you want to be, where you desire to be, then ultimately you will get there. And you'll have had lots of celebration and learnt lots of new things along the way that you'll be able to rely on in the future to help you go on to the next thing that you need to be, or the next goal that you decide to set yourself. So on this slide, you see a quote by someone called Bear Grylls. For those of you outside of the UK, Bear Grylls is an explorer, he's a chief scout, he goes on expeditions and basically has to survive. And so this quote says, "We can't always change our circumstances, but we can choose how we respond to what life throws at us. And there's power when we realize that we hold that ability to alter, to change the destiny." So, you know, if you think about that, if you think about a situation where maybe in the past you've used default behavior and surprisingly enough, the situation hasn't changed, the outcome has remained the same, and actually it's not been beneficial to you. Take a moment to think about a situation right now that's happening for you, either inside of the workplace, outside of the workplace, in a relationship, whatever it is, where you just feel like you're going round in circles and you're not actually moving forward. The relationship isn't moving forward. The negotiation that you need to move forward isn't happening. You're not able to make your point to create a difference for a product design or something like that. So think about that for me at the moment and really get that situation clear in your head, that circumstance that's being thrown at you. And then what I want you to do is to simply stop. Stop for one moment, come back into the room, okay? And then breathe. Take a really big, deep breath. Fill your lungs up with oxygen and just hold it for a moment before releasing it. And then finally, feet. Right now, think about the bottom of your feet. How do they feel? Are they hot? Are they cold? Are they restricted by shoes? Have you got heels on? Have you got slippers on? Have you just got your feet on the floor? Whatever it may be, take your mind right now to thinking about your feet. Now, that might sound really odd, and it might be like, what is this woman going on about? But now what you've done is you've stopped your mind going into default behavior about that situation that you feel unable to change right now. So you stopped, you breathed and lowered your heart rate, lowered that stress level. And now you're thinking about your feet. Your mind, your brain has forgot to just go to the default behavior. It's now waiting for a signal from you to tell it how to react. So it's what I like to call the neutral mindset. Okay, it's not saying that the situation is suddenly good, but it's equally not saying this situation is bad. So now go back and think about, okay, I've stopped myself. I'm now able to make that conscious decision and alter the destiny, the outcome of that circumstance so that it actually is better for me. As an individual, it's going to be better. So imagine if that's in the workplace. I'll take a scenario that within my 25 years of corporate leadership was very kind of a regular thing, that I'd have to go into a negotiation and try and change a policy. Okay, and 9 times out of 10, this would be the second, the third, the fourth meeting. So it would be really easy for me to think, oh, this meeting is a waste of time. It's going to be the same outcome again. They're going to raise the same objections again. You know, there's no way to move this forward. So if I went in with that approach and that mindset, 9 times out of 10, that's what I would come back with. But if I stopped before I went into the room, took a breath, thought about my feet, and then thought, today is going to be different. And sometimes that was all I would need to say to myself, today is going to be different. And I would walk in the room, be much more brighter, much more assertive, and actually lead the rest of that room to the point where I wanted them to be. So do try this. Do connect with me after and let me know how you found it. Because honestly, being able to be in control of your reactions, your emotions, how you put yourself across will lead to you getting better results. And simply by taking a few moments to think about your feet before going into that challenging situation will really help to reset your mindset. I was asked recently by someone that, you know, does this help as well when people are experiencing panic attacks? And absolutely it does. So, you know, if you start to feel that you're getting a bit panicky before going into a meeting, before, you know, venturing to a certain place, whatever it is for you, again, stopping, thinking of your feet, giving your mind time to reset itself and wait for your instruction may help you not to have a panic attack. So again, you know, if you suffer with those, think about maybe trying this. You've got nothing to lose and potentially it will have a huge effect on you. So I said that I would share my Control Alt Delete with you. After all, this is a tech event. So Control Alt Delete, they're those 3 keys on the keyboard that we use to get up the taskbar, to lock our computers when we move away from our desks, whatever it may be for you, they're in front of you most days. And I want you to remember this, that Control Alt Delete stand for you can control yourself. You can, if you so wish, find an alternative solution. If the situation, if the impact isn't serving you well, you can find a solution. And sometimes that solution, that alternative solution, will be to delete the situation in the first place. And never be afraid of that. If something isn't working for you, take ownership, get it changed, or change yourself. Give yourself that opportunity to try new things. So think about, how can you change your emotional and physical reactions to things? How can you show that you're in control? Think about, what are your emotional and physical reactions? When do they show up for you? How do they show up for you? Sometimes with people, when they're in stressful situations, for example, you can get quite red, you can kind of overheat, you might get sweaty palms or whatever. Think about those kind of things that show up for you that you want to change. So then think about, what are those alternatives? What would that outcome look like? How would you get there? And start to think about what you can do, what's within your gift to look at as an alternative solution. Think about how you would benefit from that. Because if you think there is actually no benefit to me, I'm not going to change, then hey, guess what? There is no point in you doing it, but you need to find something that works for you. So being in control of yourself, looking for those alternative solutions, those alternative things that you can do, those things that will change your emotional and physical reactions, trying them, testing them. Don't just test them once, test them 2 or 3 times, tweak them, as we would with any design that we were coming up, where if we were looking at creating some kind of disruptive technology, some new technology for the future, we wouldn't just put one design on the table and go with it. We would look to change it, to enhance it, to test it. So all of those things that we're used to doing within the tech world, use them on yourself. Okay, and then where needs be, where you need to throw the design in the bin and start over, do it. Delete those negative situations and replace them with situations where you as an individual can develop and thrive. So the benefits of having a more conscious approach to your mindset. You know, hopefully you've seen already that I've explained it is about you being in control. It's about you making a difference for you. Okay. And yes, it's okay to be a little bit selfish at times, because the better you feel in yourself, the better you will perform. And probably for the majority of people, therefore, the better you then feel about the contribution that you're making, the value to your time, maybe, you know, you're having to stop doing some things for the benefit of something else. If you know you're doing a good job at that something else, actually the stuff you've had to give up, it's easier. You release some of that guilt that, you know, as women particularly, we're really handy at piling on the guilt to ourselves. And so actually being conscious, being mindful about what you're doing, making sure that what you do brings you fulfillment, can help to ease some of that guilt. So by waking up with better intentions, to know that by investing time in yourself to create what's around you and how you interact and react with what's around you actually enhances the lives of those people around you. And that may be your immediate family, it may be your spouse, your partner, your children, your family, or it may be the people you work with. If you're a leader, the impact on your team from how you are and how you react and interact on issues makes a huge difference. They're looking at you to set the example, to set the bar, to show how we do things around here. So by being really conscious in what you do, will help them to be conscious in what they do. So here we see my 3 tips that I've just spoken through. Know what's worth the fight and what's worth investing the energy into changing and what's not. What do you really want to do and how will you do it? And does it give you what you're looking for? If it doesn't, my advice is don't do it. It's a waste of energy. Find something that will give you fulfillment. It's going to create better relationships for you, as I've just said, with your family, with your peers, with your colleagues. And you'll also, probably without knowing it, inspire other people. Other people will look at you and think, you're amazing, the way you keep everything level, the way that you bring yourself, the way you present yourself. You know, you'll know that when you leave the room, what people are saying about you is really good. You can stop that worry, that limiting belief that many people have, that when you leave the room, people are saying bad things about you, because you know you brought your A game. And you're not comparing yourself to anyone else. You're comparing yourself to the person that you looked at in the mirror that morning, the one that had those positive intentions, the one that said, today, I'm going to absolutely be amazing. You know that that person has fulfilled that objective, which is a good thing. And you'll become less consumed with those things that you have very little control over. So as an example, you know, I used to get particularly frustrated in my commute when there was a traffic jam, because initially I'd sit there, I'd see the traffic, and then I'd start thinking, oh, when I get to work and I'm late for the meeting, people are going to say, oh, Claire was late. People are going to think Claire's really bad at time management. People are going to think that I can't control, you know, how I turn up. I'm going to turn up flustered, and then they're going to think that Claire's a flusterer. All of those things could have gone through my head. But once I started to adopt the Control-Alt-Delete model, once I started to have a more neutral mindset by, instead of going to default behavior, letting my mind rest and then making up my mind on how I wanted to be, the situation changed. So when I got into a traffic jam, instead of going to that default behavior, winding myself up and then actually becoming all of those things that I didn't want to be, I could sit there and say, there is nothing I can do about this traffic. I cannot get out of the car. I cannot move the traffic out of the way, but I do want to turn up to the meeting and look professional. And I do want to turn up to the meeting and be calm. So therefore, I'm going to put the radio on. I'm going to have a sing along to the songs. I'm going to think about maybe what meal I'm going to cook this evening when I get home. And therefore, when I got into the meeting, all I simply had to do was, I'm sorry I'm late, sit down and carry on with the meeting. Completely different than running in and going, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And therefore, no one ever did say those negative things about me, because none of us, as far as I'm aware anyway, can stop a traffic jam from happening. So bear those things in mind, become less consumed with those things that you have no control over, and become more in control about how you present yourself, what you do, and how you think about things. So remember, you know, what holds us back, those limiting beliefs that hold us back, will never release us. As I've just given you that example about worrying about what my colleagues would think about me if I was late for a meeting, you know, many times we stop ourselves from doing something that we really want, maybe some aspirational goal. Maybe it's something within a work environment that you know you can absolutely make a difference to a project, but it's completely different. No one's ever tried it before, but maybe you're fearful about what other people will think. Maybe it's, well, that person's only been here for 5 minutes, so why are they coming up with those ideas? So it's better for me not to put forward my ideas. Maybe it's, people will say, you don't know what you're doing because you've not got that particular qualification, so why do we want your input? Maybe you hold yourself back by saying, I'm not good enough to do this. I don't have the qualifications. I don't have the gravitas. I don't have the backing. There are many, many, many fears that we have that we use to hold ourselves back. Many of us will have learned to ride a bike. Now, I don't know about you, I can't remember really learning to ride a bike, but having watched my children ride a bike, I know the greatest fear is the fear of falling off. So they want you to hold the bike. They want you to run behind them. They are really, really scared of falling off, but they've not fallen off. They're fearful of something that hasn't yet happened. And actually, the majority of people, when they do fall off a bike and they're learning to ride, get straight back on, and they absolutely nail riding that bike. And remember that fear that is holding you back is mainly going to be in your head. Even if it's not in your head, even if that fear has come true, you fell off the bike, know that you are powerful enough to get back on that bike and try again and become the best that you can be at that particular task by having that belief in yourself rather than allowing the fear to hold you back, and particularly allowing the thoughts of other people to hold you back. Release yourself from those. Once you do that, you'll be surprised at how empowered you feel. And don't worry about making mistakes. Everybody in this world makes mistakes. What makes a difference is those people who pick themselves up, admit the mistake, learn and grow from the mistake because they do something different, or they keep trying, or they get someone to help them. Many professional people that I work with as a coach come to me because they failed at something. I don't see it that they failed at something. I see it that they've given themselves the opportunity to try something new, maybe by having a coach, or maybe by trying a different system, or maybe by encompassing some new beliefs. So remember, don't allow that fear or the thought, your perceived thoughts of other people to hold you back from being what you really, really, truly want to be. And when you're thinking about what you truly want to be, where do you want your career to go? Where do you want your life to go? What are your goals and what are your ambitions? Often they can seem a million miles away. And on a day-to-day basis, when you're working, when you have other commitments, whether it be family commitments, caring responsibilities, children, husbands, the wider community, whatever it is for you, it can be difficult to feel like you're moving towards that goal, that you're actually creating momentum to move towards that goal. So what I recommend to you is to set yourself little steps along the way. So you remember at the beginning, I spoke about taking little steps and making sure that you reward yourself each day. I have a mantra that says, I will be the best version of me that I can be today. And I will share with you, I'll be open and honest. Sometimes the best version of me that I can be that day is to get out of bed, to function throughout the day and go to bed in the evening. Okay, but that's okay because I know that tomorrow I'm going to be better than that. So each day being your best, no matter if that best is a sparkly, world-changing, absolutely brilliant person, or whether your best is, I just managed to get through today, it's okay. Tomorrow you can take that step up. Tomorrow you can develop. Tomorrow you can try something new. Tomorrow you've got an opportunity to have a different mindset, to be more in control of your outcomes. But do set yourself those little steps, those little incremental outcomes, and celebrate them, whether it's celebrating with your friends or your family, or maybe just giving yourself a pat on the back, or maybe it's just putting a post up on social media that says, I'm really happy because today I managed to do X. It's little things that you can then look back on that give you the motivation to keep going each and every day. So having those plans to get to the top of that staircase, being able to celebrate along the way and being able to look back and see how much you've learned. But equally, if something happens, if you trip on that staircase going towards your goal and you actually fall back down a few steps, that's okay, because you can still turn around and look how far you came from day one to where you are now. And no matter how far that is, it's worth celebrating. I absolutely love this quote because, again, it's something that I see every day is birds and nature. I'm really, really lucky. So a bird sitting in the tree is never afraid of that branch breaking because its trust isn't in the branch. Its trust is in its ability to fly. And if we could harness that ourselves, imagine how much further your career would take off. Imagine how much bigger those personal goals and aspirations would be to you if you were to release yourself from those negative self-beliefs, from that fear of something going wrong, and focus on that belief, that insane belief that you are capable, you will get there. So, you know, my advice is we should be more bird-like. Let's trust in ourselves, not trust in the opinion of others, not allow the opinion of others to hold us back, not allow past failure to hold us back, but know that we have the power to become successful and to get to where we want to be. No matter how many times that branch breaks, we will still take off and we will still fly. So, self-belief, know that your self-belief is down to you. It's down to you how many external factors you allow to impact it, whether you allow yourself to be positive or negative. And whichever you choose, that's okay, because it's your choice, but don't allow other people to impact that choice. Remember, your reactions, your emotions, your interactions with others, if you make them on a more conscious level, will have a better outcome for you and those people around you. If something goes wrong, hey, we all make mistakes. If you need to apologize to people, do. Apologize and move forward. One of the biggest things I ever did as a leader over my 25-year career in technology was to always apologize if I made the wrong mistake, if I made the wrong choice. I made the choice on several informing factors, and if I knew that I made the right decision at the right time for the right reason, but it later came out it was wrong, that was okay. It was okay. I could apologize to my teams. They would gladly accept my apology. But what it also did was create this really open environment where when something went wrong for them, they could come and tell me, because we weren't going to hold that error over each other. We were going to use it to develop and grow from and be respectful of each other. So apologizing when things go wrong, if you need to, there is nothing wrong with that. It shows strength of character and belief in yourself. I don't know a single person who can change the past. None of us, as far as I'm aware, are time lords. We cannot shift between the past and the present and the future. So tomorrow, what happened yesterday happened yesterday. You cannot change it. What will happen tomorrow, you do have some influence over by the actions that you take today. So remember, don't allow yourself to be held back by things that didn't go the way you wanted them in the past. Don't allow the past to impact on your today or your tomorrow. Let it go. It is what it is. It's the past. Focus on the present. Focus on the future. Focus on being the best person for yourself that you can be. Acknowledge the choices that you make, accept the consequences, and progress. Don't hold yourself back. Don't overanalyze things. Don't perceive that certain things are going to happen and then allow yourself to react to that perception of what will happen. The only things that are real are the things that are real. So don't allow yourself to get into this loop of believing something really bad is going to happen all the time. Because imagine if something good happened. Imagine if you had all of this control that I've been talking about, this self-belief, this control over your emotions, your interactions, and your reactions. Imagine just for one moment how much better that would be, how much more you could achieve. And I can tell you, they are all there for your taking. You just need to have that trust and that belief and that resilience to try and try and try again, because you know that you can fly. So I'm really grateful for the investment of your time that you've made today and sharing this session with me. It really does mean a lot. So thank you so much for that. I'd like to thank Femtech for inviting me to be part of this amazing 2-day event. It's been fantastic so far. And I'd love to stay connected with each and every one of you. So on the screen, you see how you can connect with me. Come and share with me your experiences. Let me know how you found today. I'll be around for the Q&A as well, so happy to take that. But I'd love you to let me know how things progress for you, because, you know, you believing in yourself, you're your biggest cheerleader. And so remember, you have got the control. You can make alternative choices. You've got the right to delete negative things that are not bringing you the success that you desire in any aspect of your life. And you absolutely have the ability to overcome issues as they arise, to face failure, to learn from it, and to become the best version of you that you possibly can. So thanks everyone so much for your time today. I really do appreciate it. And I look forward to hearing from you all soon. Take care.